Hello, everyone. My name is Klaudia Mitura, work psychologist and certified chief happiness officer. We have only 2 letters left on our 26-day alphabet of happiness boost. I simply cannot believe that. It just feels I was just starting thinking about letter A, and here we go. It's 2 letters left. I would like to say massive thank you to all of you, to everyone who has been tagging me in your post, sharing your thoughts about the book, reviewing the book, joining in with the campaign. I am so grateful for all of your support. And if you've entered the competition of winning one of the 3 signed copies of the Alphabet of Happiness, I'll be announcing winners on 31st of October. If you would like to celebrate with me in person the launch of the Alphabet of Happiness, you can still join my big book launch party at the Science Museum in London on 31st of October. But also, if you would like to celebrate with me online, join me on 8th of December for an online webinar on how to live a happier life. And if you are just tuning in, a warm welcome. You're starting at the back of alphabet, but never mind. Each day for last month, I've been sharing a quick science back happiness tip, one for every letter from A to Z. So thank you so much for joining me. You can find out all of the information about all of the events and fun things I'm doing at the happinesschallenge.co.uk. And if you think choosing words for X, which by the way was X factor, was difficult, let me tell you about Y. The letter Y was even more tricky. And I decided that letter Y stands for yes. And it's about making good enough decisions. I think this topic is very important to our happiness because some researchers even suggest that we engage in decision making process on average 35,000 times a day. And even that number looks really elevated. It probably also contains lots of micro decisions such as coffee or tea dilemma. But the premise remains the same. In every aspect of our life, no matter how small, we constantly have to make decisions. And to help you confidently say yes to what matters, in the Alphabet of Happiness, I've been exploring the common traps that we fall into when making decisions, with specific ideas for avoiding them and making happier choices. And as part of that, of course, I was looking into the topic of regret. Because even though we can take all the actions to avoid the traps, to try to make the best choices in life, the feeling of regret will always be present in our life. I really don't think it's possible to have a life with no regrets, because after all, we never can predict fully how the decision will work out in the long run. And we grow and learn in life. So when we look back, we might be regretting certain actions because what we know now is very different to what we known back then. And there are 2 types of regret for us to consider, according to research: cold regret and hot regret. The cold regret is about that nostalgic, reminiscing, wishfully thinking what could have been. For instance, how our life would have turned out if you had accepted that specific scholarship abroad, or if you would have turned out that specific job. Hot regret is based on considering what could have been, but it's very much linked to a strong need for change. For example, you regret not traveling to your dream destinations when you were young, so now you decide to take a trip to those places. So the cold regret, often there is not much we can do. We need to accept that because we cannot necessarily go back in time. Hot regret thinks, how could I actually learn from that regret and take the action right now? So what I would really encourage you to do is to write down what one thing do you regret, and think about what type of regret are you experiencing. Is it that kind of cold nostalgic regret, or is it that hot regret when we have that strong need to amend? Then write a list of actions you could take to move towards the alternative life you regret not having? Could you act on that regret? And if yes, what that one action could be? So thank you so much for listening. This 26-day alphabet of happiness has been an absolute blast for me. So thank you so much for all of you who has been listening, buying my book, engaging with my content on social media, reading my newsletter, planning to come to my book launch. Thank you for all your support. Keep working on your happiness. Here is truly to a happier world. And I see you tomorrow at the last letter of the alphabet. Bye.